Now, as concerns the painter, who aims at nothing more than a representation of the subject in literal terms, never leaves any further than the starting point of a picture. For in all art, there is a soulful process that the subject must undergo before it is represented in the finished work. This process of transmutation occurs, as a rule, subconsciously in the artist's mind. Insofar as he does that, he has created a work of art. The artist takes a step further and sets down his experience, his vision, as it were, of the facts, in terms of paint or words or music. Then he created a work of art that is to be judged according to the depth of his vision and the ability of his technique. Sir George Clausen became one of the foremost painters of landscape and peasant life, and was influenced by the naturalist painters of Britain and France, which by the time he became of age to study was taking hold in the world art of painting. The impressionist movement, alongside that of the more romantic artists like Corot, made a huge impact on instruction in art schools, as well as the many ateliers that were filling up with young artists eager to enter into the realm. George Clausen was born in the Regent's Park district of London on the 18th of April in 1852. He was the son of a decorative artist of Danish descent, and by 1867 he attended design classes at the South Kensington schools in London and in the studio of artist Edwin Long, R.A. This was followed by attending in Paris the atelier of William Bouguereau and Tony Robert Fleury at Academie Julian. He was an ardent admirer of the naturalism of the painter Jules Bastien Lepage, about whom he wrote in 1888 and 1892. His pictures excel in rendering the appearance of people and nature under dappled outdoor sunlight, or in the softer light of a tree or workers tending the land. His Girl at the Gate was acquired by the Chantry trustees, and is now at the Tate Gallery. A stunning work that is large and inviting as we ponder the whole scene, which is a warm and romantic view of rural life. In one of his essays on painting, Clausen writes, "It is interesting to try and choose from among the great artists those who may be called perfect painters, artists whose works are altogether beyond criticism, and it seems to me there are very few. By perfect painters I mean those whose workmanship is so supremely accomplished that one would not wish it to be better, and so expressive, so ultimately united with its subject, that the picture is all of a piece, a creation." In this he refers to Vermeer and added Velázquez to that honoured list. This is why Clausen stands out, his humility to both artists of great skill and high attainment and to nature, that they so longed to do justice in paint. George Clausen strove for the perfect balance between his own art and that which came before, to lead the way, so to speak, to bring out his own personal viewpoint but let it grow and evolve over time. In the paintings he creates we find his people of the land, and faces he portrays entirely complete and intensely interesting. The paint handling is freshly loaded with painted impasto, to the point that nothing further needed to be added. Clausen's workers in the field in several of his pictures are absolute poetry. There's no need for fussy detail or encumbered sentimentality, but simply complete as it is. In the canvases shown here, we see the workers are treated with painterly crispness, and again the brushwork completely complements the rural land he depicted, as also with the reapers in the fields who are moving the scythes quickly along. The energy is felt over the entire canvas. They seem to move forward with the bend of flowing grasses, for harvest time is upon them. Clausen painted many small portraits of youngsters, and the emotion comes through the work, his lovely depiction of young girls enjoying the summer sun and thoughts far away, or young lads that look scruffy and ready for some hard play as well, all intensely interesting works of art that need nothing further to add. In other canvases, and by contrast, Clausen begins to evolve from the Bastien Lepage influence of his earlier days to the softer impressionist palette and technique that became the hot novelty of then-current fashion. The reference we made earlier to Vermeer and Velázquez is more evident in his later years, as he wrote of their influence not only on his own pictures, but those of men like John Singer Sargent and Carolus Duran that championed the bolder brushwork of the time. It is interesting to note how the fashion of an era and the peer pressure to follow along cannot be overstated, both for one's style of painting, but also for economic reasons, and keeping up with the flavour of the day, so to speak. But talent has a way of levelling out as one pursues picture-making over the long haul. With Clausen, it is his general mastery of each phase that is attractive, so we have a range of time in canvases to enjoy his thinking and ability to change, not fearing criticism or questioning, but simply moving forward with passion. Clausen was able to work in a variety of styles, as we shall see, including a more linear approach which, like Degas, can be useful to express the quality of line as it serpentines around a form. And in many ways, colour is of secondary importance and may rely more on its simpler tonal range of colour. This he does in the smaller portraits where he ventures to blur the edges in some pictures, while in others the need for expression by way of crisper linear design is suggested, all of which are the artist's prerogative, and the reason painting is limitless by nature. His wonderful still-life paintings with flowers, and in some of his interior scenes of domestic life, we see the back and forth of this problem-solving of two venues toward nature. Sir George Clausen would become instrumental to the art of Britain. He was to lecture and write books and essays, and his lecture series, which are still available in print, were widely popular at the Royal Academy. He had many thoughts to convey over a long and productive life as a painter. He expressed further, "The artist is rather in the position of a public entertainer than of a fine workman. He paints pictures in the hope that they may attract attention and bring applause and or other more substantial rewards, and has to work his way toward recognition through general indifference, and this, I think, accounts for a good deal. But an artist should take risks." Finally, another most important point in connection with good painting is that of good drawing. It is the foundation. Sir George Clausen passed away at home in the village of Cold Ash in 1944 and was buried there next to his wife in the parish churchyard. The work of George Clausen has left a substantial legacy of a proven workman, an artist, one that inspired us with each of his canvases and in our presentation. We hope you enjoyed reviewing his marvellous work. If so, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. This will enable our channel to grow and add a like as well. Thank you until next time. Bye for now.
We hope you enjoyed the presentation and will consider subscribing as we look to discover more artists and art topics. This will enable the channel to grow, and thank you.